I discovered that truth for myself. I experienced 3 different chronic illnesses over a period of 18 years. And the more I learned about this illness and how its effects were causing me to feel bad, the physical pain and the fatigue, I realized there was no physical evidence of my pain or of my fatigue. Doctors would run all sorts of tests and say there's nothing wrong. And I said, well, there is. I feel it. I can tell you where it hurts. And they would tell me, well, it's all in your head. And well, there is some truth to that. There is some truth to it being in our heads. And I know I'm not the only one that's heard that. When we experience life, it goes up and down. We have good experiences, bad experiences, sometimes traumatic experiences. And what can happen is the emotions that we experience during these traumas are so overwhelming that we don't know how to deal with them. We shut down or we avoid it because we don't know what to do. And so what happens with those emotions that don't get processed and moved through us properly can get stuck in us. And those emotions and those vibrations and the negative thoughts and stories that go along with those can fester. They can find a weak spot in the body and they can get stuck. And what happens over time is as they fester, they can develop into physical issues, whether it's simply a symptom, a pain or a fatigue or some kind of discomfort or mental disability or illness. There still doesn't need to be a physical evidence of it, but it's very real. And these emotions are at the core of so much pain and so much difficulty. One thing we get to do now is learn how to manage those emotions. Learn how to take an experience, look it in the eye, feel the emotion that's coming to us, and give it space. Give it space to teach us what we need to learn, and then move on. Grief is one of those things that we don't really know how to work with. We don't know how to deal with it. You can hear people sobbing at funeral homes, and sometimes uncontrollably. They don't know how to manage or even process what they're feeling, and so all they do is react. And that can be good. It's one way to let that emotion process through us. It's beneficial if you can give conscious thought to it as well, and understand it and think about it and recognize it's loss, it's sadness, it's missing something or somebody. And the more you allow that emotion to resonate in you and feel it and not be afraid of it, it will come in, teach you, and then leave. It won't get stuck. And you'll know if you're experiencing healthy grief if you feel it and you're brought down into almost like a little shell, almost like a cocoon where you feel like you need a little protection. You create some safety around you and you hold that and you feel it, and then you let it go. It moves out from you. You feel peace. You feel it come in and then out, and you're left with peace. You're left with a feeling of calm and satisfaction. Not that the problem is solved. That's not what it's about. It's about allowing that emotion to teach you and to help you grow and to help you heal. Emotions are there to help you experience life and grow in the ways that you're meant to grow. But if we are afraid of them and we fight against them, they get stuck. And so you know if you're experiencing unhealthy grief because it's overwhelming. It takes over your entire being. You feel lost. You feel out of control. You start feeling physical pains as well, but it's chaotic and it's overwhelming. What that tells you is you have things in the past that you didn't deal with properly. All of us do. And using the intention to allow that emotion and those emotions from the past to remove themselves, to leave, can help you then process the current emotions more effectively so that they don't get stuck and cause problems. And so the grief can come in and you can clear out all that baggage, all the regret, the resentment, the worry, all those things that can be related to it can surface and you can let them go too. And then you're left with just the grief. And grief is beautiful. Grief is healing. Grief is uplifting as you pass through it. So with the illnesses that I experienced, and all the doctors telling me, there's nothing wrong with your bones, there's nothing wrong physically with your muscles, there's nothing wrong with your blood, all of these levels are fine. And yet I was still in significant pain and feeling overwhelmed with life and too tired to get out of bed in the morning. And my journey of trying everything under the sun to feel better led me to know that most of what I was experiencing, I would say 90% of what I was experiencing was emotions and energy that was imbalanced or was causing problems. So those emotions, those traumas, those experiences that are difficult, that we can't deal with in the moment, get stuck, and they go through a series of levels in the body until they finally surface as a physical symptom. I'm Tiffany Garvin. I hope that what I've shared with you today has resonated in some way and maybe inspired you to improve your life.